Okay, let's talk about hex numbers. So hex stands for base 16. We are obviously used to denary, which is base 10. That means that we've got 10 possible variations starting at 0 going all the way up to 9, and then if we want to go higher we have to go to 2 columns, so that would be 1, 0, 10. Okay, so hex base 16 can go further before we need to go to 2 columns. So starting at 0 all the way up to F gives us 16 possible variations. And a good way to remember this is denary 10 is equivalent to the letter hex letter A. So it goes up to 15. Why base 16? I hear you say, well, it starts at 0. So F is 15. But because it starts at 0, it is 16 possible variations. So why use hexadecimal numbers at all? Well, base 16 means that hexadecimals don't need as many digits to represent higher numbers. So let's just take this example. So we've got denary number 175. And that uses 3 digits in base 10. In hex, which is base 16, we only need 2 digits, and in binary we need to represent that value using 8 digits. So a good example of where this is used is in things like your IP address and your MAC address, your physical address. And you can check this yourself if you're at home, because you can go into command prompt and type in ipconfig /all, and this is a screenshot of the results on my computer. I've masked out some of it because obviously I don't want to get hacked. So this is the MAC address, the physical address as it's listed here, and you can see it's 5A, so that's a clue. That tells us it's not using denary numbers, even though it looks like a denary number. This is actually a hexadecimal number. Okay. Now this IPv4 address, IP address, this is something we're going to talk about later in the course, but you can see these are denary numbers. Again, here we are using hexadecimal values, which means you can have more variations for the same number of digits. So something else you might have seen us using hexadecimal numbers if you've done web design and choosing colors or changed the font of the output in Python into the shell, you can use hexadecimal color values, and this is the W3 Schools website where you can select the color you want and it will give you the hex value or the RGB value. So the RGB values are base 10, 3 lots of base 10, and they require more digits than if you use hex values. So this is a hexadecimal number, even though it looks like a denary 3, it's a hex number, that's a hex number, that's a hex number, that's a hex number, that's a hex number. Okay, so if you represented this hex number as a binary number, you would have a very long number indeed. So that is the benefit of hex numbers, and they're more user friendly as well. Once you get used to them, they're more intuitive for a human to use. So here's a question for you. I've updated our denary and hex table showing values for both, and it's got an extra row now. So if we get to F, which is the highest single digit value we can have for a hex number, what is going to go here? So denary 15 is F. So what is denary 16 as a hexadecimal number?